What's up, bro?
Hey, how's it going?
Good, good. Dr. Rumley.
Wild to hear that. It's wild.
Yeah. No, own it, bro. Like you worked hard for it.
Shit, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I do.
Thank you for hopping on. Welcome everyone. This is Dr. Kevin Rumley, the living legend around here. I'm gonna let him dive right in. So tell us about your story, sir.
Hey, man, I appreciate it. And yeah, just Kevin. I joke the only doctor I need is a Dr. Pepper. That's it. Nothing else. Right? But yeah,
All right.
I'm honored to be here. And we have a lot in common, you and I, common as Marine veterans, common as people in recovery, and this commonality of wanting to give back and support other people's healing. So,
Mhm.
yeah, this is a huge honor to be here. Um,
Thank you. Thank you for
but
coming.
yeah, I mean, this idea of even being here, even being a doctor, was
Mhm.
never on my trajectory, right?
Mm.
So, I don't know. I grew up in Northern Virginia, right outside Washington, D.C. My dad was a Marine. My grandparents served. So it's just kind
Mm.
of the water I was swimming in.
Yeah.
And then my mom passed away unexpectedly when I was
Damn.
15, and she was like the center, the rock,
Yeah.
everything. And um, that's really when I turned to alcohol and drugs,
Yeah.
was just how can I cope with this feeling of loss?
Right.
Shit, alcohol gave me this feeling like just a warm hug from God or
Hmm.
my mom. It was what I did not have anymore in my life. So,
Yeah.
but quickly everything was going downhill. So I'm not going to classes anymore. I'm barely, making it through the day without by noon having 240s and
Damn.
showing up at the end of classes. So I knew I was on a fast track to death.
Yeah.
So I remember I skated down to a recruiter's office and was like, "Hey, Marines, I want to become a Marine and I want to go to war."
Hey, let's go.
Yeah, you know the Marine recruiters. You remember this?
Yeah.
They're like, "Yes, we can do that right now."
Yeah. Yeah. We got you. Sign right here.
Sign right here. So I did. Sent me to Paris Island, and then from Paris Island, School of Infantry,
Hmm.
and then in 2003, I was sent to 29 Palms. It's just a
Hmm.
massive desert,
Yeah.
probably one of the worst Marine Corps bases you could
It
be at
sucks.
if you want to have a social life or do anything
Right.
exciting. Flip side, it's one of the best training facilities if you're going to war
Right.
in, say, Iraq or Afghanistan. So
Right.
we did the quick build up with 3-7, and then I was sent to the Syrian border.
Mm.
There were only about 100 of us who are deployed out here, and it's truly on the border. Like you could take one footstep over and you're in Syria. And
Yeah.
all day we just did foot patrols. So I'm a rifleman. I'm just in fire team, a unit of four of us, just walking around. And um, I mean, I couldn't even tell you what our mission was. Right? We're
Hmm.
19 years old, and the Marines taught me how to kill. The Marines taught me how to neutralize the enemy, but not how to communicate, interpersonal
Right.
skills, compassion,
Right.
love, anything.
Right.
Um, well, long story short, we were annihilated by IEDs. Out of the 100 of us there, 26 Marines that I served with were killed.
Damn.
And then on April 7th, 2004, I'm on the foot patrol. I'm walking, and I remember I was turning around. I had rear security. I'm turning around, and then just
Damn.
completely just go offline. And when I come back online, I look down and I see that my left thigh is completely blown open. I can see down to the bone, and it was like someone cut a toilet paper roll in half and just phew,
Damn.
shrapnel through my left lower leg. Shrapnel blew out my right knee, blew out my
Mm.
right femur. I had shrapnel blow out my bicep. Shrapnel blew out through my hand. It was just raw. I had shrapnel through my eye, shoulder.
Damn.
So I'm like,
It's a miracle
instantly,
you
I knew.
lived.
Yeah, I knew in this moment. I was like, I'm dead. I know that I'm about to die. And an interesting thing happened. So, I love to, I view a lot of life through this lens of trauma and trauma
Mhm.
recovery.
Mhm.
And a lot of people define trauma in different ways. But for me,
Right.
I view it as this body and this brain
Hmm.
at the end of the day has one job, and it's to keep me alive.
Right.
That's it. My very primal brain and my nervous system. So in this moment when I was blown up, my nervous system kicked in and said, "Cool, Kevin, guess what we don't need right now? We don't need
Feeling.
this higher level thinking of you thinking about love and hope and joy,
Hmm.
meaning making, plans, identity, none of that." It shut all that shit down, right? It said, we don't
Yeah.
need that.
Yeah.
So here I am, I'm sitting there, I'm dying, but I'm also offline in my brain,
Mhm.
and I'm hearing what are screams, but my brain doesn't understand that. It doesn't know what a scream is. I'm
Right.
looking at my body and my hands, but I don't know what a body or hands are.
Yeah, you're not processing anything.
I'm not processing. So I'm just at a very base level, like a my dog, right? It's just
Yeah.
boom, I am dog. So in that
I
moment,
am dog.
Josie, I am dog. This I come back to this feeling too. Like it's stuck with me for life, but
Yeah.
the yeah, the corpsman came running over, boom, shoots me up with morphine, and instantly my nervous system is regulated, my brain's calm again.
Hmm.
And that was uh, truly like this deep addiction, the beginning point, this crux where, and I didn't know this,
Hmm.
but every cell in my body was like, yes,
Right.
this is love, this is peace. And I end up getting medevac. I'm sent to Germany, then I'm sent to Walter Reed, where I have 32 surgeries, and I'm told I'll never walk again, right?
Yeah.
Doctor's like, your life is forever different. But throughout all this, I had opioids, just a
Hmm.
main line straight to my veins.
Hmm.
And no surprise, because my story is not unique,
Yeah.
I develop a dependence.
Of course.
So then when I get out of the Marine Corps, I now have a dependence on opioids.
Right.
And I would go through all my prescribed opioids within 1 day,
Hmm.
the meds for a
In
month.
one day.
I would crush him. My tolerance was astronomical. It
Yeah.
just it's unreal what day one I needed to just achieve, basic pain reduction. A year and a half later, my tolerance had grown so much that it had nothing to do with pain reduction anymore. It had everything to do with just feeling normal.
Right.
Right. So I was on morphine and Dilaudid and Oxy and just it was astronomical. Fentanyl
Yeah.
lollipops. Like I was
Damn.
hospice level care, right?
Damn.
Had gone down to 90 some pounds. Like I just was not healthy.
Just
So I'm
skin and bones.
discharged, right? And you know this because when you're discharged from the Marine Corps, they've never done a great job of helping facilitate that transition,
Right.
especially not when I was coming out of the hospital. So I'm discharged from the Marines. I'm 20 years old or 21. I
Hmm.
want the Marine Corps in my rearview mirror, and I now have a opioid addiction.
It's tough.
Yeah, man. So it was pretty much whatever line I drew in the sand for myself, I would blow through it because of my addiction. Anything.
Right.
If I was like, all right, well, you know what? I'm never gonna buy drugs off the street. I'm very proud. I'm only gonna get them from a trusted person with a prescription for it, right? Okay, well, that's not happening. Then I'm buying off the street. Next thing, I'm never going to steal from anyone's house
Hmm.
their medication, right? Well, next thing, I'm breaking into people's houses.
Yeah. Everything you said you wouldn't do.
Everything I said I want to do.
So listen, I have found that to be true. Anytime I or somebody close to me has said, I'm never gonna do X, Y, and Z, or if that were me, I would do X, Y, and Z. I've noticed we always get a chance to prove it.
We do.
It's crazy.
We always get a chance to prove it. And it, without fail, I mean, I was framing it also as like, well, clearly I'm morally bankrupt, right?
Mhm.
I had a lot of internal shame because shoot, I have a standard and clearly I can't keep it.
Right.
And
That's tough,
addiction's
bro.
stronger than that. You know,
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough.
addiction's way stronger, man.
Yeah.
So that was this moment of discharging from the Marines. I no longer have my tribe. I no longer have a sense of purpose,
Hmm.
sense of dignity. I was in charge of $1 million piece of equipment. Now I can't
Hmm.
work at McDonald's because I can't even
Hmm.
wake up on time to make it to work.
Yeah.
I start drinking heavily. And just for years, I decompensate. I just go downhill. And to be honest, I didn't have enough courage to kill myself, but that was what I wanted.
Damn.
And uh, over and over, I found myself interfacing with the justice system,
Hmm.
right? So I would get pulled over and, well, I didn't have enough money to renew my tags, right? But I had
Hmm.
enough money to purchase my Oxy 80. So get
Priorities.
pulled
Yeah,
over.
we've been
Boom.
there.
Yeah. And oh, yeah, I've been drinking all day. I've had 40 beers today. So you get a
Damn.
DUI, right?
Yeah.
Then, but that's not enough to change my behavior.
Right.
Next thing, I'm getting, yeah, disorderly conduct charges for I don't even know what, because I'm in a blacked out state for however long.
Yeah.
Another reality was I'm a young white male, right?
Hmm.
So inherently, my outcome is going to be different in the justice system.
Right.
I have the same behavior as a young black male veteran. We do
Hmm.
identical behaviors.
Hmm.
Me, I might get off with a verbal warning, right?
Yeah, if that.
If that, yeah.
Yeah.
Same behavior by a black young male, boom, going to prison. A good
Hmm.
example, I was in South Carolina. I am out of my mind. I don't even know how I ended up here.
Yeah.
And riding home, we get pulled over and throw the cocaine into the middle of the car, right?
Hmm.
Well, it was definitely mine. And the driver's like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah, of
it ain't
course.
mine. And I knew it wasn't his. So I was
Yeah.
like, okay, like so heroic of me to admit, like, okay, fine. Because the cop's going to charge us both. So we both get
Right.
taken. And then the cop walks me out of the jail cell,
Hmm.
takes me over to the bathroom, pulls out of his pocket the cocaine and throws it into the toilet.
Oh
And then
shit.
says, thank you for your service. Right.
Damn.
And this is a life changing moment, right? This is a moment where my life could have gone many ways
Right.
and shaped the future of my life in many ways. So
Hmm.
I don't have that felony charge, right? I
Right.
don't carry that. Doors are still open to me. That's
Right.
not afforded to my veterans of color, right? It just
Right.
is. But that wasn't enough for me to be like, cool, I got to change my life and figure out how to live.
Yeah.
This ain't working. So I ended up moving to Asheville because I'm like, well, it's got to be my life's falling apart because I'm in DC in Northern Virginia.
Hmm.
So I moved to Asheville and same thing.
Yeah.
It just continues to spiral. But I'll say it really, I don't know, it may have been the 10th time of me hitting rock bottom and saying, I can't live like this,
Hmm.
that it really stuck,
Yeah.
right? It may have been the 10th time. Um, but a huge part of my recovery is Suboxone. So Suboxone is just a medication. I take it every single day, just
Hmm.
one in the morning, and it helps manage the chronic disease of addiction.
Right.
It binds in my opioid receptors in my brain and body and says, cool, you don't need to pursue opioids today. I receive no sense of euphoria, no kind of joy or anything like a regular opioid. It's just boom. Now I'm at baseline and I can begin the real work of trauma healing, dealing with depression, anxiety, and all that.
Right.
I've been on Suboxone now for 14 years.
Okay.
And I mean, we had a vet in here today, and he's like, man, I just feel like when I'm in certain meetings and people are looking down on me for taking Suboxone.
Hmm.
And so we have conversation like, hey, does someone who has diabetes who takes insulin get looked down on? No. We have a
Right.
chronic disease, same as diabetes is. So we manage this.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I think that was really the turning point for me was when
Hmm.
the doctor offered a medication. And in my mind, I thought, well, if I take meds, I'm weak.
Mm.
And I'm a Marine. You better believe I'm a Marine and I am strong. I
Right.
can't be taking medicine. But that moment right there could have gone many different directions. I said,
Right.
fine, yes, let me try this medicine. And it transformed my life.
Yeah, that's incredible. I want to back up to something that you said that I really connected with when you had and you had said something about the horrible things that happened to you and your team on the border of Syria and Iraq. And upon discharge, and this is you hit the nail on the head, they do not prepare you for the mindset shift that comes from having, especially the fact that you saw combat. You know, I did 2 tours in Iraq. So the sense of purpose that we have over there is the greatest sense of purpose ever. And then to have that taken away and then you land down here with zero sense of purpose, it's it's really difficult to find a reason to get up and get moving. And I want to highlight that because I think that's a part of the reason why a lot of people choose to check out of this life is because they can't find a reason strong enough to endure the difficulties anymore. And then to be dealing with that and then pile on top of that the ups and downs of addiction, the ups and downs of trauma, and the ups and downs of daily life, it is incredibly difficult. Like I can't even imagine being in that position with all of those different things. And your story is really similar to my story and a lot of other veteran stories in as far as it pertains to like the military service, because when I got arrested in 2009, I was supposed to go to Afghanistan in 2010. And obviously I didn't because I was locked up. But my unit got crushed. And you don't really hear much about the realities that are faced, that the individuals that make it home are facing. Not only did you lose who you were, you lost the people that you stood side by side willing to sacrifice your life for. And then you lost the purpose or the mission that you were willing to lay it all down for. And on top of that, you're dealing with the guilt, the shame, the standard you set for yourself and constant letting yourself down. So it's incredible that you were able to bounce back from all of that and then somehow find a purpose through the darkest hours of your life. And now you dedicate a large majority of your time to helping veterans as well, right?
Yeah, yeah. Now I'm really fortunate to be part of a program here in Buncombe County called the Veterans Treatment Court, and it's just a alternative to prison.
Mm,
They come into our program and focus on treatment and addressing everything that you just named. Pretty
mm.
much that is the gamut. We try to empower them with a new sense of purpose.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's a huge goal, right? Like when I
Hmm.
share about it, if I give my elevator pitch about the
Hmm.
Veterans Court, obviously there's some great carrots involved. One of the carrots is if they complete it, their charges are dismissed and we help them get
That's
expunged.
incredible. Yeah.
That's a good carrot. Um, but my experience has shown me for the population we're working with, they have a number of felony charges long before they come to us.
Right.
That what they're looking for is that sense of purpose, that
Hmm.
deep sense of purpose that they had in the Marines or the
Right.
Army, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard. Um, and the only way,
I don't mean to laugh, but
yeah,
Coast Guard.
hey, but we get Coast Guard here. We have the only one we haven't had is Space
Space
Force.
Force,
Yeah,
do they
no,
come back to Earth? Like, I don't know anything
hey,
about
I don't
them.
know.
I have
No,
no idea. But go ahead,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
but no, the sense of purpose, which I've come to kind of equate as just community and connection.
Right,
That if you have those two things, then you can have a sense of purpose.
right, right. Okay, tell me about balancing that and going after your doctorate and pursuing music because you haven't said anything about music and you're a musician.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, let's go. Talk about it.
Oh man. Well, I think the in early recovery, it's all about survival, right?
Mhm.
I only knew how to live one way, and that way wasn't working, and it kept getting the same results. And I was on a pathway towards my early death.
Yeah.
So I'm on Suboxone, and I realized, cool, this has got to change. And an integral part of my healing journey is giving back. I know
Right.
you have this same spirit of service because I see it in
Right.
all that you do.
Well, thank you. That means a lot.
The Yeah, giving back, right? Giving away what we have received for free in order
Right.
to keep it. Um, I really credit Suboxone with allowing me to go back to school. I credit Suboxone with giving me the physiological safety for me to start drumming again. So I've
Mm.
always been a drummer,
Hmm.
and my body is a little different now because I have knee replacements, femur replacements, and
Yeah.
all these surgeries. But music is deep within me.
Right.
I also have a passion for learning, but the internalized shame and stigma of addiction had carried over and told me, well, Kevin, you're too much of an idiot to, make it through a class, right?
Yeah.
All of these things, and we just believe it. I just co-signed everything
Yeah. And
that
none of
said
that's
you're not
true.
worth it. Yeah. So I I think slowly the gift of recovery has been a willingness to just say, I'm going to try.
Right.
I have nothing to lose by trying. I would rather try and fail. And then I can say, cool, I tried and I
Right.
wasn't able to cut it. But it's almost the same mentality of going into the Marine Corps, right?
Yeah.
I want to see if I can do that.
Yeah. As opposed to living the rest of your life wondering, what if? What if I had
Yeah,
just tried?
exactly.
Okay. Okay. So, um, what are three lessons, and you can highlight them however you choose to. I like to start thinking about them as right now, the words that we say, we plant seeds in the minds of other people's. The ideas that we have whenever we speak, we're planting those seeds in the minds of other people. The road that you've walked and the wisdom that you've developed along the way, if you can give me three lessons or three seeds that you'd like to plant in the people that are listening to this, the people who are dealing with addiction, the people who are getting out of the military in a way that they never imagined that they would have had to, the people that just feel stuck in their day-to-day life, right? Because everybody could use a little bit of hope.
Yeah.
So, what would those three lessons be?
Ooh. So I, a big one that immediately comes to mind is just giving voice to every single person's deep and innate value and worth, right? Just
Mm,
on the like truest sense. I think addiction robs the soul of thinking they have any meaning, purpose.
yeah,
Uh, is that truly that that lost feeling that I had, that anyone in early recovery has, where you just feel as if you don't exist?
right,
You do. You do, and very much um, to experience and appreciate your own value,
yeah,
recovery gives that gift. I think number
that's deep.
two is that there are many pathways to recovery, right? I
Hmm.
have seen over and over there is not just one do this and this is how you
Right,
recover.
right,
So it's not a binary of being in recovery or not, but instead a continuum of making healthy choices. Um, and if it is working for you, if harm reduction is working for you, that's fantastic.
right,
So many pathways to recovery. And I think so, yeah, number one is you are worth it.
right.
Number two,
You're worth it without
everyone,
having to do or prove or be. You have value just in who you are, right?
exactly,
Okay,
exactly. Number two is there's no one way to do recovery or to
right,
heal. So
right,
whatever works for you,
right,
that's huge. I happen to be in a place where my best efforts didn't work.
right. And
So,
not to mention, so it kind of blows my mind to think, let's say, even though I am a veteran like you are, I went to war like you did, I did not get blown up. not to shreds. I mean, we got hit by IEDs, our trucks did, but we all came back in one piece. So who am I who hasn't had 33 surgeries, who hasn't experienced what you experienced to tell you what's right or wrong for you? You know what I mean? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I think that's exactly it. It's like everyone's journey is their own, so I
Right,
cannot judge the journey that you're on.
right.
Um, but segueing into number three is that change is possible.
100%.
I really I had arrived at a place where I couldn't live in active addiction and
Hmm.
I couldn't live sober.
Hmm.
And that's an awful place to be.
Right. Yeah,
And
that's a
every
tough,
time
tough
I hit
spot.
that place, I return to use.
Of course. Yeah.
So now I have found, hey, my pathway has led me to a place where I have a sense of serenity and peace and love and
Hmm.
compassion for myself and for others.
Hmm.
But yeah, that if I could share anything, that's the biggest is change is possible and you are loved and you are worth it um, right now, all the time.
I love that.
Boom.
And the fact that you have those three allows you to step into something that gives you a sense of purpose with confidence. And it's interesting that that horrible place that you were in has now and we talk about lived experience all the time. But had you not gone through that horrible experience, how could you hope to possibly connect with the people that you connect with on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah. It's the
counterintuitive.
greatest gift almost.
Yeah,
Despite,
absolutely.
yeah, who
Absolutely.
would have thought like my greatest gift would be that I've gone to such lows.
Right. Right. So tell everyone where they can find your music. Let's talk about your music because
Yeah.
you're an animal on the drums. So let's
Hey,
talk
of
about that a
course.
little bit.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'd be honored if anyone, whatever platform you're listening to music on, Spotify, iTunes, Pandora, just type in Kevin Rumley, Rumley, and you'll instantly see my album pop up. I think I've released 10 songs to date, but I mean it's the greatest joy for me to just I'll go in my basement, I'll record
Yeah.
everything, and
Yeah.
then I'll invite more talented humans than me to record instruments on top. It's recruiting. I got to get them.
There
But
you go. There you go. You're recruiting. I love it.
yeah, yeah. You can
I
do the
love it.
same thing though. Go to YouTube, type in Kevin Rumley, Rumley, or you
Mhm.
can go to kevinrumley.com,
Yeah.
KevinRumley. But yeah,
And
hope
we're
you
gonna
enjoyed
drop
it.
all of that in the description of this episode. Okay, everybody go support, go subscribe, like it, like
Yeah.
this video, please comment, share it to everybody, especially if you know a veteran who's having a hard time, if you know an individual who, whether they're a veteran or not, is dealing with active addiction or the early stages of recovery and they don't really know if they can hang on, please share this video with them. All right, last question. What's next?
Oh man, you know, hey, I think I would love a couple things. Definitely want to release more music. I definitely want to see more of these veterans treatment courts across North Carolina.
How many are there right now?
There's about eight,
Okay,
nine,
okay.
but we have 100 counties, so we got room
Yeah,
to
we got to
grow.
catch up.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But I
Okay.
should say this, Castro, that if anyone listening knows a veteran who's justice involved and has a pending court date,
Hmm.
they may be in any county in North Carolina.
Okay.
We can still support them.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so they
deep.
will have to relocate here, but we can help with housing. So we say, hey, whoever is hearing this message, if you have a pending court date, you're
Mhm.
a veteran struggling with mental health or substance use, reach out.
Is there a link for that that we can put in the description also?
Yep.
Okay.
I'll send you the link, but it is buncomveteranscourt.com.
Okay.
Buncombe veteranscourt.com.
Okay. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to have this conversation. Bro, that was really deep. You have a powerful story, and I'm
Yeah.
grateful that you survived, bro.
Hey, thank you. And yeah, Semper Fi to you.
Yeah,
As
do
a
or die,
fellow
homie.
Marine,
Yeah, you
you
know what
know
it
it.
is. Ain't nobody playing.
The only thing
Uh,
playing would be arguably my hair. This is the
and
furthest thing
my
from a
lack
Marine
thereof.
thing.
Hey,
Exactly.
it's good to see you, bro. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, man. Much
Th-
love.
Thank you again. Peace, bro.